Today we're going to be talking about the G-Shock Square. Now, a lot of you know that this is one of my favorite watches of all time. I think that it is absolutely fantastic looking. It's iconic by design. It's incredibly functional. It can take a beating. The list goes on and on about how damn good the G-Shock Squares are. But it's not perfect. There are some things that I think G-Shock needs to do, or Casio rather needs to do, in order to improve upon the platform and maybe modernize it a little bit. So today we're going to discuss what Casio can do to make the G-Shock Square the best watch in the world. Before we begin, by the way, I just want to give a quick shout out to @SouthernBellHome, the Instagram page @SouthernBellHome. They were kind enough to donate these very, very awesome film reel lights, which are really sprucing up the place. We've gotten a lot of compliments on them, and we're right now working to get them wired up as well. But anyway, huge thank you. They're really, really awesome. And if you're looking for any kind of decoration ideas or ways to spruce up your interior home or workspace, they're definitely one of the places to go. Anyway, now on to the Casio. I have 5 things on my list of ways to improve the Casio G-Shock Square. And we're gonna go ahead and kick it off with things that are more, I guess, sort of nitpicky wish list things, but nevertheless stuff that I think that they can do. And at the top of that list is adding a step counter. I'm not sure why I want that so bad, but you know, most people's phones do that nowadays, but I would really love to see a step counter in the Casio G-Shock Squares. Now, they have started doing that with the GBX 100 series, I believe it's called, the GBX 100 series Casio Squares, which now have like kind of a new digital screen, and they also have another one of the features that I'm going to get to in a moment. But they do have a built-in step counter, and it's not that accurate though, and there's some other things about that watch I don't particularly like. You can see my review on the channel regarding the GBX 100 watch and why I don't particularly love it. But the point is that I think Casio is kind of moving in the right direction there. It'd be nice to have a step counter, and even though it doesn't have to be as accurate as the Apple Watch, it would just be nice if it's sort of there. So, you know, to be able to kind of hit the menu button a couple of times and there's steps in there. It'd be a nice thing to see. It's kind of like their version of a move goal, just to kind of get you moving and out of your chair. So step counter is number 1 on my list of wishes and desires for the G-Shock Squares. Number 2 on the list of things I'd like to see on the G-Shock Squares, and that is the ability to always turn on the light. See, the thing is that on the traditional G-Shock Square, the light button is shared with the up and down button. So that means that if you are in a timer or setting an alarm, if you want to hit the, you can see the light while or you can turn the light on while the timer is moving, but if you wanted to adjust the timer, you can't do that with the backlight. So anytime you wanted to adjust the alarm or a timer or some other function on the watch, you cannot use the light while doing so. And believe it or not, you do sometimes use a timer when you are in the dark. So it'd be nice to have the maybe like a little button right there on the front of the watch that is the light, instead of it being a shared button on the watch. Now, again, the GBX 100 did solve this by putting a light button right there, but alas, again, that is not a classic G-Shock Square, and it maybe would be nice if they put that on there, but you know, in the better of the G-Shock Squares. Number 3 on the list of things that I would like to hear on the G-Shock Squares, and that is a louder beep. So I don't know if you can hear it, but that beep is stupid quiet. And in fact, here I'm going to go ahead and adjust the timer here really quick, and even when the timer goes off, that's nothing. Can you even hear that? Can you even hear that over the microphone? They need to make it louder. I mean, if you're in a gym or if you're like, I don't know, I mean, there's almost no instance that I can hear that timer, whether I'm in the shower, the swimming pool, the gym, or in a loud mall, in this, just any kind of space, people talking, you cannot hear that alarm. And it would be, and by the way, that goes across the board for the whole watch. So the timer, the alarms, they all use that same very, very quiet chime. And I think that Casio needs to take a page out of Omega's book, and they need to put like a loud fucking bullhorn on that thing just to be so you can hear it. And if they're unwilling to make the chime louder on the watch, then at the very least, number 4, you can add vibrations into it. See, it'd be nice, like Tissot, the Tissot Connected Solar, which is a watch that I really, really love that I've reviewed on this channel. The Tissot Connected Solar has not only a much louder chime built in, but it also has vibrations built in. And that's really nice when you're, either you don't want the chime, you're maybe trying to be stealthy or silent, so you just want a little buzz going on your wrist. Or for that matter, let's say you're at the gym and you're working out and you can't hear the chime, so then you can just feel the thing buzzing on your wrist and, oh, okay, my timer is up. There's a number of reasons why a vibration or some sort of feedback built into the watch would be a really, really nice thing. And the thing is I think that Casio can probably accomplish those things without really sacrificing the profile of the watch. I mean, Lord knows they've been making that module now for a very long time, and I'm pretty sure that they could sort of squeak all of this stuff in. And again, I think they're kind of attempting to go that direction, maybe with like the GBX 100, but they should be able to just kind of have like a do-it-all G-Shock Square. And then the last thing on the list, and it is really a nitpick more than anything else, and that is that the button interaction on the G-Shock Squares would be a little bit nice. They should do something about that. So I don't know if you can really see it in the camera too well. The buttons on this one, by the way, this is the large of all of the G-Shock Squares. This has the largest buttons, but the thing is that they're recessed in the frame there. So it's not exactly easy to press the buttons, especially when you have like gloves on or you're like exercising or something like that. And maybe it'd be nice if they just either had slightly larger buttons or just maybe it didn't take too much pressure to push them in. Now, I know that the push buttons, they have them where the way they are because they don't want, you don't want like accidental input on the watch when you're like, doing something active. But I do think that they could maybe make them slightly more responsive, not maybe just a little bit easier to hit, like, again, when you've got, like, gloves on. And again, the original G-Shock Squares, which you can still get, have even smaller buttons than this, so they're particularly more difficult to hit the pushers on. But nevertheless, that is just a nitpicky thing, not a deal breaker by any means. I still think that the G-Shocks Squares, the all-metal ones especially, are awesome little things. They've got solar power built in for charging. They've got multi-band 6. They've got the synchronizing with the atomic clock and also your smartphone and stuff like that, where you can kind of interact with the smartphone to make alarms and make changes to it and update the time and keep it current. The new all-metal G-Shocks, the 5000 series, are just really, really awesome things. And if you don't want to swing or throw out for like the more expensive modules, you can get the even more basic G-Shock Squares, which are just, again, iconic by design. They're just a beautiful, just watch that it just watches. I mean, you don't need it or want it to do anything more than just that. So I love using this G-Shock, but it'd be nice to maybe see some slight modernizations to the platform. And then one last little sort of bonus thing that I want to throw out there, and that is adding sapphire glass to the G-Shock Squares without bumping the price up to the $1,000 range. So you can get a G-Shock Square that's got like a titanium band and a sapphire glass, but it is like, I think, sitting at something around the $1,000 price point, which is just absolutely crazy for what you get. I mean, it's awful value. It would be nice to be able to have maybe like even if they had like a $500 option with sapphire glass, something like that. These watches, they are meant to take a beating. They do get beat up, from people working out at the gym, jumping out of airplanes, doing work, snorkeling, skydiving, whatever. I mean, you name it, the G-Shock is meant to get the shit beat out of it. And it does that particularly well, with the exception of its face. And that's what you're like looking at all day. You don't want it all scarred and marred up. You want it to last and be good looking. And that's the problem without the sapphire glass, is it does scratch very easily and it looks really bad when it scratches. It would be nice if Casio offered a sort of more scratch resistant sapphire version that won't break the bank. Anyway, that's how I think Casio can improve upon the G-Shock Squares. Let me know your opinions or things that you would like to see on the G-Shock Squares. We hope that you had a good time watching this video. Please feel free to, please tell your friends, please like and subscribe, comment in the comments section, and we will be back with another video real soon.